this is Paulo from Tupan Games, and continuing our criteria course, we will create a class table. I uploaded this table into criteria here, and we will create an operation for the weapon proficiency. You may notice that we have weapon kind here, category in fact, simple and martial, and also we have some names of specific weapons. We need to separate that into different fields. We will use the parse many node. The parse many node is used when you don't know how many fields are there. We just know that the fields are separated by commas, like this. Club, comma, dagger, comma, dart. There's spaces here, but we will deal with that. So we grab the input here, and the delimiter will be a comma. That's it. Now, in the body, we can use this node to get the text between commas as many times as it has on that field. For instance, for this field, it will pass here 2 times. One will deliver simple weapons and the other will deliver space martial weapons. We will use then this. Now we can use this parse single here, and the input will go here. And we have a token rule here. And the idea is to grab the words martial and words simple. We will now use the custom list and use martial and simple here. And we also need a delimiter of a single space. We will now create a field, but the idea here is to have, we may have more than one option. Since we have martial and simple weapon proficiency in the same line or for the same class, we need to create a variable here, create var and category text and initial value empty. Okay, and then we will set that var separated by commas here, here, inside the body, here. And we will use a very interesting node, which is in the string functions here, called not empty concatenation. It is exactly like the string concatenation with a twist. If the first text is empty, it will just put the last text on it. But if the first text is not empty, he will add this middle text in the middle. So it's very useful to create strings separated by commas or by any other delimiter. We will use the token find. Okay, let's see, and now we need to create a field. Create field outside of the loop. Okay, if you name category, data type is text, and the value is the variable that we filled. So let's test this. Great. It's working. When it doesn't have simple or martial, it does nothing. Exactly. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now we need a new parse single here. Second parse single with the same input. Okay, but now instead of looking for martial and simple, we will need the other weapons. And the other weapons are contained in a table. So we will use token rule table, and the table is weapons, of course. Weapon. Again, this field will be separated by commas, so we need a second variable here. Create var. There will be a weapons list. It's a text, and it starts empty, and it's exactly the same idea. No empty concatenation here. And you use the variable, a comma, and the parsed text. Call it weapon list. It's text. So here. Okay, let's test this. I think it's working. Okay. Good. Now I changed this to multiple table weapons. Now we have a very interesting way of editing this. See? And now to add a class, you just add this and also the category. And of course, the category can be changed to a combo. Now we can create an info that will return true or false if the character has proficiency on a specific weapon. Now we will create an info to return if the character has proficiency on a specific weapon. That's a parameter, it's the weapon. I don't need the inventory here. Just the weapon name, because I will use it to access the table. Now, looking at the classes table, we will see that we have a category which is earned at the first class and a weapons list. Some classes have weapons lists and some classes have category and some classes have both. The rules say that if you have multi-class, then you don't gain everything, you gain only certain things. For instance, if you have a ranger as a second class, you gain access to martial weapons. So we have to take that in consideration. We will create a variable here and call this variable first. It will be a boolean and starts true. Then we will search for each class. Then in the first class we will use this category and weapon list fields, and in the second classes we will use just this MC category. So yeah, first. And then I need to use this weapon and the class to access the weapons table and the class table. No. The table will be classes, not the field I want here. The field will be, first we will try the category. No, first we will try the weapons list. And in inventory field goes into the class, of course. And journal here is good. Okay. Now, this returns a list. Now I have to kind of compare this weapon with this list. And that is where we will use this little node called belongs to. This node works like a set, a mathematical set. You can imagine that this weapons list here, which is in fact here, something like this: club, dagger, dart, javelin, or crossbow, hand, long sword, and so on. This is the weapons list. Okay? And we need to search inside this list for the weapon that's passed as a parameter. So you can think of this multiple field, because this is meant to be used with multiple fields, either tables or combos. We want to know if this weapon here is one of the items in the set. You can think that the search text belongs to this set. Okay, it will return true or false here. We need a parameter. If this happens, then we will return true because we have proficiency on this particular weapon. Of course, we need the return value here, and the return data type will be Boolean. Return value is true. Now I will check, instead of the weapons list field, for the martial or simple field. Here, this field. Okay? And to do that, we'll do something very similar. We'll copy everything. We'll duplicate everything here. But instead of the weapons list, I want the category. Okay? And the category, the parameter will be the weapon, but instead of weapon, I need to access the weapons table and know which category that weapon belongs. Remembering, just getting here, the weapons table has a category column, which will be simple or martial. Table field here. So the table will be weapons, the field will be category, and the parameter value goes into the weapon. And journal is a good thing here. If the category of the weapon being used is in one of the categories that this class has proficiency, then we have proficiency. So returns true again. And for the multiple classes, so the second class, we will not use the category field, but we use the MC category field. So it will be very similar to this second one. So we grab here, duplicate here, and instead of using the parameter value is weapon, instead of using here the category, we will use the MC for multi-class category. Either we return true, and after everything, if I don't pass these 3 tests, I will return here. I return false here. Okay, and that's it. We ended our has weapon proficiency information. Now we should use this in the attack. Now, you may remember that we just clicked use proficiency here in the weapon attack. So instead of simply pass this a true, I am calling the info that we have created, and we use this weapon var into an inventory field to find the weapon. Remembering that this info receives the weapon name and not an inventory field. So we will now test this. Let's attack. Okay. 12, it hits. Damage. Let's look at the... Okay. So we rolled 12 and we have strength. Character has proficiency in that weapon. It's a slashing weapon. So we have 12 plus 2 of STR. The character level is 3, so the proficiency bonus is 2. And total is 16, which is absolutely correct. It's working. Okay, now we have this roll here, which is the damage. And total damage is 2. It's just, okay. Okay, that's right, because the modifier of the strength is here and is also added here. Everything is working.